Hello, you're watching TVP World News. I'm Jan Szeregiński. A 7-year-old boy is dead following a large-scale Russian drone and missile attack on Ukraine on Thursday night. The strikes targeted the southeastern Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia, leaving at least 3 other people injured. Loud explosions also rang out across Kyiv as Russia launched ballistic missiles against the city in an overnight assault. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said 9 people were injured in the attack on the capital. The Russian strike also inflicted damage on Kyiv's energy infrastructure, leaving thousands of people without electricity. US President Donald Trump and his Finnish counterpart Alexander Stubb have clinched a deal to jointly manufacture 11 icebreaker ships in a bid to enhance both countries' security in the Arctic. The announcement was made at a joint meeting of the two presidents.
We're happy to announce that we'll basically building 11 icebreakers together, 4 of them in Finland in joint endeavors, and then 7 of them here. And I think the reason that we've landed in Finland is that 60% of the world's icebreakers are built in Finland. 80% are designed. We've been building them for over 100 years. And speaking of price and time, I think we're the country that can provide them half the price and half the time that others have it. And I think this is a huge strategic decision by the president as well, because we all know that the Arctic is important strategically, militarily, and in terms of the economy as well. And now we can work on this together.
Sweden's defense minister announced on Friday that the country will invest approximately 320 million euros in additional anti-drone systems. The announcement comes after a series of overnight sightings of unidentified drones over Danish and Norwegian civilian airports and military infrastructure late last month. Earlier in September, Poland, Romania and Estonia had their airspace violated by Russian drones and fighter jets, in what is believed by experts to have been Moscow's testing of European defences. The Swedish government said that the new investments will include the purchase of weapons, sensors and jammers to protect the country against hostile drones. The delivery of the new equipment has been brought forward from 2036 to 2028. The European Commission is set to launch an investigation into Hungary's alleged spying on EU institutions, the Commission's spokesperson said on Thursday. According to a report published by the Belgian newspaper The Tid, the Hungarian intelligence service has for years been operating a secret spy network within EU institutions in Brussels.
The Commission is taking note, of course, of all the reporting on the subject matter today, according to which there have been espionage operations pursued by a Hungarian intelligence service against the EU and members of its staff. The Commission takes, as usual, such allegations very seriously, and we remain committed to protecting Commission staff, Commission information and networks from illicit intelligence gathering actions. Now, this is a matter of operational security, which is why, as usual, I won't be able to comment much, but what I can say is that we will be setting up an internal group to look into these allegations.
Airports are reportedly bracing for delays ahead of the introduction of the EU's new entry-exit system, which will see biometric checks for non-EU travellers. The move is part of a bloc-wide effort to tighten border security and streamline arrivals. The European Union will, on Sunday, start to phase in its much-delayed entry-exit system, known as EES, for all non-EU citizens. The automated system will require travellers to register at the border by scanning their passport and having their fingerprints and photograph taken. Financial Times reports that airports are preparing for queues as travellers are processed. The EU will gradually introduce the new system over 6 months, meaning different ports and airports within the Schengen open border zone may have varying requirements until 2026. Artificial intelligence tops the agenda of Polish President Karol Nawrocki's visit to the 2025 Ariolos Group meeting. During this summit, which will include several European leaders, AI regulation is expected to be discussed, as well as other concerns about the new technology.
Even that this is informal meeting, it's very important because we can share our perspectives, our views about economy, about the security. I'm very happy that I'm today here in Tallinn. Estonia is very important ally of Poland in United Europe and in NATO. Our discussions are focused on the new technologies, artificial intelligence. We feel the breakthrough of artificial intelligence and around the artificial intelligence and new technologies all over the world. This is very important issue and subject for my tenure as the President of Poland.
I would like to focus on 4 main points. This is to find the right level of regulation, because I believe that overregulation kills innovation. The second is early implementation, because the world is changing very fast, and Europe, with its competitiveness, we need to do much more fast implementation than we do it till now. Of course, education, because we have to educate not only the young generation, but also the teachers in the schools and the whole generation, because it is really a revolution ahead of us. And the fourth is the source of energy, because artificial intelligence will need a lot of energy.
A former public servant in Poland was charged with espionage after years of passing official documents to Russian intelligence operatives. Maciej Wilowski has more on this story and on the issue of Russian spies in Poland.
It was here at Warsaw City Hall that Tomasz L. used his position as a public servant to forge fake identities and personal documents for Russian agents operating in Poland. Through his actions, which went on for 5 years before his ultimate arrest in 2022, Tomasz L. may have put in danger the personal information of countless citizens. Poland's Internal Security Agency first detained Tomasz L. in March of 2022, influencing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs' decision to expel 45 Russian diplomats from Poland later that month. Russian agents are known for keeping a low profile, often blending in with refugees and asylum seekers entering Poland.
The Russians are the world's experts at hiding people inside of those refugee streams who are not really refugees, and then finding ways that once they get into country to change that person's identity.
Russia has also conducted espionage on a different front, the web. According to research from private security firm ESET, Poland was the world's #1 target for ransomware attacks in the first half of 2025, accounting for 6% of all such incidents globally. Most of these, according to Poland's Ministry of Digital Affairs, originated from Russia and Belarus.
The Russians do something that we're not allowed to do in Western countries that operate on the basis of the rule of law, and that is, you've got over 1 million Russian hackers working for a few dozen cybercrime gangs in Russia.
As part of its efforts to counter hybrid threats, Poland's government has imposed sanctions on companies suspected of ties with the Kremlin. On Tuesday, 2 more companies and 3 individuals with links to Russia's steel industry were added to that list. Together with uncovering Russian espionage, actions like these are a step forward in countering the Kremlin's hybrid warfare. Maciej Wilowski for TVP World.
The authorities in Belgium have thwarted a plot to attack Prime Minister Bart De Wever. The news was revealed by the country's public prosecutor's office and Deputy Prime Minister Maxime Prevot. Belgian police on Thursday conducted 4 searches in the Antwerp neighborhood of Doorn, where the Prime Minister resides. During the operations, an object resembling an improvised explosive device was found at a suspect's home. 3 young adults were arrested in connection with what is believed would be a series of jihadist-inspired terrorist attacks. Other politicians, alongside Prime Minister De Wever, were also alleged to be the target of the plot. Serbia's biggest diesel and gasoline supplier, NIS, has been hit by US sanctions, with over 50% of the company being owned by Russia's Gazprom. As a result, Serbia's biggest refinery is no longer receiving crude oil from Russia. TVP World asked Kerry Longhurst, an international relations researcher, how the country can cope with this development.
It's really hard to say, but from my perspective, the situation that we really should be thinking about is how the Serbian government is going to cope and the Serbian people are going to respond to this and deal with it in these next few days and weeks. The problem is, absolutely, Serbia is hugely reliant upon Russia for its energy supplies, but it's a real double or even a triple whammy, because not only that, but also Serbia's energy mix doesn't have the renewables to compensate against the loss of this, because of the reliance upon non-renewable energies. So it isn't just dealing with these immediate sanctions. The fact is it doesn't have hardly any other energy resources to rely upon.
For the first time in 2 years, there is a realistic chance to end the war in Gaza. After the bloodshed, countless lives lost in a conflict that polarized the world, a first step towards peace between Hamas and Israel is finally materializing. And yet the announcement sparked some controversy, even in Poland. Sonia Gatabiszczan has more on the recent breakthrough and the steps involved in the first stage of the ceasefire.
After 2 years of bloodshed, a glimmer of hope. Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a ceasefire plan brokered by the US. The proposal includes the withdrawal of Israel's troops to an agreed-upon line.
We pray to God that this time it is serious and that there will be a permanent ceasefire and an end to the war.
The plan also includes the release of hostages held by Hamas. Avishai David, father of Israeli hostage Evitar David, is counting down the days till he sees his son again.
Great excitement, tremendous excitement. Even though for now it's only on paper, just signatures, nothing tangible yet. I want to see him, feel him, touch him.
Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski welcomed the ceasefire development at a conference on Thursday, after an audience member confronted him for not calling the situation in Gaza a genocide.
What is happening in Gaza, and hopefully coming to an end, is of course a terrible catastrophe, and I am not excluding that war crimes have been committed there, to make it clear. But it is not for me to judge this. And secondly, not every war crime is a genocide.
Since October 2023, over 67,000 people are believed to have been killed in Gaza, including more than 500 aid workers. Among them, Damian Sobol, Polish national working for the World Central Kitchen, who was killed in an attack by Israeli forces in 2024.
Free Palestine!
The deteriorating situation in Gaza prompted protests around the world. And other initiatives aimed at alleviating the humanitarian crisis, like the Gaza Sumud flotilla. Having intercepted its vessels approaching Gaza, Israeli forces detained the activists, including Eva Yashevich, one of the Poles who were part of the flotilla, who returned to Poland on Wednesday evening after being deported by Israel.
We were subjected to humiliating treatment, denial of food and water in the prison. But I really want to emphasize that this is absolutely nothing compared to what the 11,100 Palestinian prisoners are dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
The first phase of the ceasefire plan also includes the release of some Palestinian prisoners. The second phase, which could include complete Israeli withdrawal, disarmament of Hamas, and new governance arrangement in Gaza, is still to be negotiated. For TVP World, I'm Sonia Gatabiszczan.
The winner of this year's Nobel Peace Prize will be announced later on Friday. Experts say that despite US President Donald Trump's months-long campaign to secure the prestigious award, he may actually not be able to succeed. Trump has regularly highlighted his desire to receive the prize, which has been won by 4 of his predecessors. However, according to Norwegian daily VG, the committee took its decision on Monday before Wednesday's announcement by Trump of the conclusion of a Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal between Israel and Hamas. Experts told Reuters news agency that the Nobel Prize Committee members are also unlikely to support Trump's efforts to dismantle the post-World War II international world order that they value. Analysts say that the committee may wish to highlight a Sudanese volunteer network, UN bodies such as the UNHCR or UNICEF, or an aid organization like the Red Cross. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and please stay with us here on TVP World.